it's a great opportunity to take advantage of all of this time we have. Like, fill it up, like, do as much as you can, because one day you won't be able to. And so why not, like, do as much as possible? And if you find out that you are doing too much, that's great. You can reevaluate and you can take a step back. But I don't think you should be scared of the what if, or, oh, I might get too busy, or, oh, I might get home late. Like, I think you should just live in the moment and be involved in as much as you can.
My name is Dawn Tonkinson. I'm the Education Outreach Specialist with Student Organization Leadership and Development under the Department of Student Activities. Student Organization Leadership and Development is the one-stop shop for all things student organizations. We help with annual recognition, we help people become a student organization, training, leadership development, awards, you name it. So today, I'm here with Gabby and Elizabeth to talk about their involvement journey and how they got to where they are today. Gabby and Elizabeth, do you want to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Elizabeth Drake. I'm a senior agricultural communications and journalism major from Kingwood, Texas.
My name's Gabby. I'm a biomedical sciences major, and I'm originally from San Antonio, Texas.
Awesome. Well, thank you both for joining me today. So I just have a couple questions about just your involvement journey and how you got to be into the organizations you are today. So one of my first questions is, what was it like for you as a freshman coming into A&M? And how did you know you want to be involved in a student organization?
So when I first came to A&M, it was really overwhelming because I had been in smaller private schools my whole life. So my graduating class in high school was around 170 people. So I've always had a very close-knit community of students, and that was like a really big worry for me coming into A&M because I knew the student population was going to be so large. But I did have a lot of friends coming from high school into A&M. We tried to go our separate ways, but we're still together. I love all of them though. But being able to find our own paths freshman year was like, we pushed ourselves to be able to go and do our own things. And so that's why too I wanted to join a student organization, and I wanted to be able to continue specifically my community service and be able to give back to the community, especially A&M, because I had first heard about the 12th Can is the big org I'm in. But I had heard about that at an Aggie Moms Club. And so I wanted to be able to continue volunteer work that I'd done at a food bank in San Antonio originally and be able to kind of do the same thing at A&M. And
Yeah, so my freshman year coming into Texas A&M, I went to fish camp like a lot of incoming freshmen, and it was really cool to get to see like all of these college students. And like at the end, when you're riding the bus home, you're hearing like, oh, I'm involved in this, I'm involved in that. And I was like, oh, so I need to get involved in something. And then I'm also hearing my parents' stories from their time at Texas A&M about all they were involved in. And I was like, well, I need to find something for me too. So I got here and I joined Greek Life, but I really wanted to like get more involved on campus, meet more people. And so I went out for flows because that's what everyone else was doing. And unfortunately, I didn't get into a flow, but that was really cool because I was able to use that rejection as kind of a redirection. And it led me to a lot of the other orgs I've been involved in, which have just given me so many incredible opportunities to get involved. And I love Texas A&M, and so it's been a lot of really cool opportunities to serve the university through organizations while also meeting like-minded Aggies who love Texas A&M like me.
Awesome. Well, thank you both. It sounds like you guys have both had a very unique journey getting involved at Texas A&M. So as we know, each organization has their own recruitment process, and not every single person gets into every organization they apply for, no matter how hard we try. For you guys, if you didn't get into your first choice of the organization that you got when you got here, or you're a flow, how'd you handle that disappointment? And then what did you do to move forward?
Yeah, so like I talked a little bit about, I kind of used that as an opportunity to seek out other stuff. I think if I wouldn't have gotten rejected from a flow, I probably never would have pursued Student Government Association. My second semester of my freshman year, I actually joined SGA, and I got super involved. And the following semesters, I was actually on leadership for the organization. And that never would have happened if I would have just gotten to a flow easily like everyone else. And I think it taught me a lot about like meeting people and making connections and the importance of like finding the right fit for you, because I really had to get out of my comfort zone and like look into these different organizations and find out like what am I actually passionate about and what do I want to give my all to. And then I was able to meet these people and tell them that. And I feel like that's what kind of got me to where I am today.
It's also, I would say too, being rejected from I also applied to a flow. I first did Greek life like you, and then I wanted to be able to find like a closer freshman knit community. I didn't get the flows that I wanted, but that did too. The 12th can recruitment timeline was a little after, so I was like hopefully banking on that to be my main organization of my freshman year outside of Greek life. So being able to take that and like motivate me to do more within the 12th can and the other orgs that I'm in, it honestly like is a blessing in disguise, because I feel like I wouldn't have done exec for all 3 years had I gotten into another organization that I had to put more time in. And being able to put so much time into the 12th can and like just prioritizing it above all the other potential orgs I was thinking of joining, it's really been like beneficial for me and like my growth as a leader.
From your guys' experiences, what's the most valuable lesson you learned in putting yourself out there by being involved at Texas A&M?
So I would say that being able to use rejection or anything to that sort for any org, job, anything like that, it's honestly really taught me to keep an open mind, because going into application cycles for any kind of organization, it's really difficult if you are very set on being, this is the one thing I want to do, and if I don't do this, then my life is over. That was a mindset I think I had at the beginning of my freshman year coming into college, and honestly, with all the applications I've had to go through over these past couple of years, it's been really rewarding for me to think back and be like, taking this new opportunity and having all these new doors open and being able to expand my outreach, like in my mind, being like what I'm capable of. And it didn't have to be the first direction where I went. It's okay to go somewhere else. That's been a really valuable lesson for me that I've also been able to apply to a lot of my other areas of life too. It doesn't just have to be a rejection from a sports team or an organization. It could be from any parts of your life, whether it be with friendships or relationships too. It's being able to have an open mind and like knowing that there's a plan out there for you.
My freshman year, I think it gave me just a lot of encouragement. I had a lot of push and drive from it to get involved in even more things. I wanted to make more friends, because you can never have too many friends. I wanted to meet more people. So I ended up, that led me to getting involved in a bunch of organizations by my sophomore year. And another thing it really did for me is it encouraged me to want to pursue leadership in those organizations, because I thought it would be a unique opportunity to pull more people in, because I think there is a lot of people who either don't know about organizations or they're set on one, so then they don't even look into others. And I think having leadership in these organizations like we've been lucky to be able to have gives you the opportunity to reach even more people, have informationals where you can meet these people and hear their stories, stay till the end, talk to every single person, and hopefully give that chance to someone like we were given.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's 1,300 student organizations, and like not people maybe dip into 5 to 10% of them. So it's really great that you guys were able to branch out from all of those and really find your niche from there. Now, Gabby, I know you said the word rejection a couple of times, so I want to talk about that. So the word rejection is scary for many people. How would you help a freshman overcome a fear of rejection? Elizabeth, you can tag into you on this one too.
Yeah, I would say like, I agree with you. Rejection has a very negative connotation associated with it. Just because the way I think about it, just because someone tells you no doesn't mean that's the end. There's always a way that you can pivot, whether it be the end of that path, that's okay, but being able to find the other one is the best thing. I think you said it kind of earlier. I liked how you said rejection to redirection. Being able to like put that kind of way of thinking associated with that word is how I think mentally you can prepare best for that no. I think too, whenever I do apply to things, I always like mitigate my expectations to the point where I believe in myself and I know I'm capable of doing these things, but having that little hint, like 5% of your brain thinking realistically, like if I don't get it, where can I start thinking about where I want to go next? Being able to just have that realist but mainly optimistic mindset about everything, I think is how I've been able to get through it, and how I think a lot of incoming freshmen can orient their mindset to help deal with all of that.
I totally agree. I think you just need to remember that, like, it stinks in the moment, but at the end of the day, in 20 years, you're not going to remember. Nobody else is going to remember that you didn't get into a random organization at Texas A&M, but you are going to remember that it encouraged you to pursue other organizations. You're going to remember those and how you were involved in the people you met and the impacts you made and how you're able to serve the university that you love. Like, that's what you're going to remember. You're not going to remember that you didn't make it into a flow or some sort of women's org, which I think is really cool. And that's been the case for me. I rarely think about like, oh, I didn't get into this, I didn't get into that. But I do think like, wow, like I love the friendships I've made in Fish Camp or Team 12. Like that's what sticks in my memory and what I know I'm going to remember 20 years from now. And I really just try and share that with other people, especially freshmen, because I think that's a really story that we can all kind of share.
Yeah, I think a lot of times is you remember those friendships and the impact you're making in your current student organization. Again, it's only a snippet of that rejection, and then you can move past it and then hope for the best moving forward. So with all of that, what advice would you give your friend or a fellow student going through a similar experience that you guys went through?
Yeah, I would say I'd go back to keeping an open mind. That's honestly the best thing you can do for yourself because, like I said previously, like that's where you can have the realism and the optimism in the mindset put together. Just not being, I am not a go with the flow person, but if you're able to do that and you are a go with the flow person, I would say being able to bank and rely on that kind of mindset too is really helpful. Just positive thinking. That's what I always tell myself, like glass half full kind of gal, never glass half empty. I always try to prioritize being positive and moving forward. So
I also think it's like so important to just get involved. Like that's my response to, I think, everyone, not just people who have been rejected, but people who maybe don't have as much involvement or people who do. I think that's just a huge thing. Like there's always opportunities on campus. There's so many organizations. You can literally look up online and there's a whole list of all the ones you can get involved in. You can go on social media. But it's just such a rewarding opportunity. And there's somewhere on this campus for every single person's like talents and strengths to be utilized and embraced. And so I just encourage everyone to seek that out because everyone deserves that. And there's an opportunity for that here. So it's really cool.
Yeah. And even if you can't find something, you can create your own student organization here. So there's that small plug right there. All right, Gabby Elizabeth, can you talk to me a little bit about what you're involved in and the journey and how you got there?
Yeah, absolutely. So my freshman year, I got involved with Greek life kind of from the start in Pi Beta Phi, which has been the most rewarding experience. I feel like I've made sisters from the organization. I've been really lucky to serve as a member class representative and as a policy and prevention educator director, which was just the coolest experience because there's so many resources on campus that I was able to bring to my chapter. I also, as a sophomore, was involved in Sophomores Advancing in Leadership, which was just a great way to meet people like myself, like-minded individuals who just loved A&M and wanted to hang out and be around each other. I've also been involved in Student Government Association with Aggie Recruitment Committee, which was a great way to recruit incoming freshmen for the university. I just loved it. It was really cool. I had the opportunity to serve as our service coordinator and our recruitment and retention director. So I really had hands-on experience, like bringing people into the organization and then taking them to go out and recruit the next generation of Aggies, which I just loved, which kind of matches. I'm super involved with Fish Camp. So I was a counselor twice. And then this past year, I just wrapped up being a co-chair for Camp Self, which was super exciting. I absolutely loved it. It was the most rewarding and full circle experience because my mom was actually a chair back in the day. I'm also involved with Team 12, which is athletics official ambassador organization, which if you love A&M athletics is the coolest way to give back to athletics and former athletes. I serve as our liaison for the Letterman's Association on game day. So it's a really cool opportunity to just meet former Aggies and hear their stories and welcome back these Aggie athletes who maybe some of them haven't been here in a while, which is really cool. I'm also really lucky to get to work at the new station on campus, KAMU. So we do broadcasting and stuff, and we have organizations coming in all the time to visit us. And then I've also been really lucky to be involved in some professional development organizations like Agricultural Communicators of Tomorrow.
That's a big wrap. Oh my goodness. Let's see. So I started off Greek life too. I'm in Gamma Phi Beta, and I have met my lifelong friends and sisters there. I love them to death. Getting involved in there specifically, I was in intramural chairwoman my first year, going into freshman sophomore year, and that was just be able to get all the teams together who wanted to participate in intramural sports at rec sports at TAMU. And so it taught me a lot of lessons on beginnings of people management skills, I would say, making sure that everyone showed up to games and that the other organizations we were combining with alongside G5, that everyone was in communication and working together in that way. And then I was Merit Points chairwoman my sophomore year. That just taught me a lot about Excel and honestly being able to have like those tedious tasks of maintaining points of over 300 girls and making sure that everyone's on top of it for formal and semi and being able to go to those things, meeting those points. It was a lot of work, but I loved it. I loved to, honestly, I had like an hour a week where I was just kind of just typing on Excel on my computer and just, it was kind of like a little like organizational, like mind relax moment. So I really enjoyed that too. And then I did run for one of the vice president positions, but then I did not get it. But it was a blessing in disguise because, which I'll talk about later, my involvement with 12th Can too was really, really heavy that year. So it was all for the best. So joining 12th Can too my freshman year as well, going through recruitment that way. It was mainly just starting as a general member. I had just wanted to volunteer. And then being in there for a couple months, couple semesters, I realized I had wanted to run for an exec position. And so I became membership director my first year. And so that taught me a lot about more people management and being the liaison between the exec team and the general member population. At the time, I think we were around 90 to 100 members. So it was a really good balance of also keeping spreadsheets, maintaining points, making sure that everyone was on top of their stuff. And it was also a really good way for me to learn how to work with a really big group of team leaders too, because we had 12 executives on our team. And so it was a lot to be able to be their first year and experience that kind of collaboration and teamwork, because I had really never done it outside of group projects, I think, in high school. And like we had leadership and NHS and things like that, but it was a lot smaller, especially because my school was small. Junior year, I was chief pantry director, and so that taught me a lot. And so I think that was when I became the most involved in 12th Can. I was probably spending 10 hours a week making sure the pantry openings were happening and making sure my smaller team of pantry bros is what we call our smaller team, to making sure we were all on top of our things, to make sure we had successful pantry openings. And also, too, it was a new learning curve for me for like middle management position, being able to like apply those skills too. And like in the position I'm in now, it was really, really beneficial for me. And I know I'm going to take it as far as I can in my future career. And now I'm currently serving as executive director of the 12th Can. So I've kind of just been really on exec team for 12th Can, really pushing my way through. And I love the organization. I'm very passionate about fighting food insecurity, especially on Texas A&M's campus. So I'm really grateful for all the experiences and opportunities I've had with 12th Can. But also, too, in my summer between sophomore and junior year, I had the privilege of going on a trip to Peru. It was a medical mission trip. It was really, really awesome. We set up mobile clinics for a week period. We were there for 2.5 weeks, kind of preparing and everything like that. But it really opened my eyes to seeing how healthcare is in different populations in different countries. And even though we were just doing kind of like clinical visits where you're just checking vitals and things like that, it was really rewarding to see the impact that we were making on these Peruvian citizens, because this was probably the one time a year they would come to a doctor visit because it was free. And so being able to help any people in that kind of way of healthcare is like something I'm also really passionate about. And so applying that to my 12th Can service as well. And then also to I also had the chance to be a Girls on the Run coach for G5. And so G5 has very hands-on involvement with our philanthropy partner. And so I actually had the privilege to coach a group of around 8 to 10 girls in 4th and 5th grade. And we were able to, our whole thing is building strong girls. And so that was also physically and mentally. And so being able to have that kind of teaching moment, be a mentor for younger students, and like also a first thing, my mom's a teacher. And so being able to apply that like learning experience and give it to students who are growing and going through those growth changes was really beneficial for me.
Awesome. I work at the Boys and Girls, or volunteer at the Boys and Girls Club, and some of our kids did Girls on the Run.
Yeah, and that's so good because I know too, one of the other sororities, I can't remember, they also target Boys and Girls Club, and it's really awesome to see like the hands-on involvement and the impacts we're making like now. Like we can see the tangible overturns, I guess, of what we're doing with service. So
yeah, no, that's fantastic.
Yo, this is incredible for one. But I want to ask a follow-up question. I could assume that there may be freshmen or other fellow Aggies watching or listening to this and think, wow, they are involved in a ton of stuff. I don't know if I could do that. So how do you guys balance being heavily involved at Texas A&M while also being a student and just being a person? Can you talk about that a little bit?
I would say like Google Calendar is my best friend. I would not be able to go through life without Google Calendar. I have this on my calendar for today. Like on my research lab classes, like literally anything you could think of, it's on my Google Calendar. And I think that is something that is really, really important for incoming freshmen to prioritize, is that time management. Because if you're actively writing down something or putting it on a piece of paper or a computer, it's you actively thinking about like, okay, I'm going to set aside this time for me to get this done. I honestly don't think I would be able to do all of the things I have done if I hadn't been so organized with my time management. And then also too, like I because I put everything on my calendar, I also block out times for me to actually just do some self-care. Because if you're not prioritizing yourself outside of everything else that you're doing, that people are seeing you like constantly having to excel or always be on the top of your game or always have a positive face, if you're not able to do that to yourself first, I would say you need to prioritize that more for sure, because it's definitely something that has gotten me through like, okay, maybe I just need to doom scroll for like 10 minutes right now, just have a brain break. Being able to separate yourself between the things you need to do and the things you should do is really, really important to think about.
Yes, I'm definitely a big Google Calendar fan myself. But I think a big thing that I kind of like have in the back of my head, because I often, when I've gone out for organizations, they're like, that's great, you're involved, but are you going to have time for us? Or do you think you can manage this?
It's a big question.
But I think you totally can. Like at the end of the day, I think all of us can do whatever we put our minds to. And I think we're at such a unique time in our life in college that it is a time where you're taking care of yourself, like, and you're a college student. So it's a great opportunity to take advantage of all of this time we have, like fill it up, like do as much as you can, because one day you won't be able to. And so why not like do as much as possible? And if you find out that you are doing too much, that's great. You can reevaluate and you can take a step back. But I don't think you should be scared of the what if, or, oh, I might get too busy, or, oh, I might get home late. Like, I think you should just live in the moment and be involved in as much as you can.
Yeah, I would piggyback off of that. Living in the moment too. It's like being a senior now, it's like, wow, college moves so much faster than high school. And like everyone tells you this and you think it's a cliche, but it's like, it's literally true for a reason. It's actually
blink
insane.
And it's 4 years.
Exactly. And you thought high school was fast. College goes so much faster. And so honestly, this year too, I've been really putting in a lot of like intentionality with everything that I do, and being able to, even if you can't commit like your 100% to something, as long as it's something that brings you joy, I think that's really beneficial for people to think about whenever they're getting involved.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Also being able to rely and lean on some of your friends that you make in your student organizations, and being able to delegate some of those tasks out and so forth. I would assume that probably would be very helpful.
Yeah. Building that community too, especially like I really am appreciative towards G5 for that, because that gave me like my social aspect and finding a new group of girls outside of the friends I've always known. Which I love them. They're still my friends. But being able to find that new community and like being able to like lean on them like in times of stress, because there are weeks that do get hard. There are times where I don't want to be doing the work I'm doing, but I persevere because I have people to lean on, and they're there to push me and just be the best version of myself that I can be.
Yeah, and I mean, with that involvement, it makes you want to like go to the meetings and like stay out. Like, it's fun to go to these things. You're not just doing them to check a box. Like, I'm always excited to see my friends at my different organization meetings, and like, I'm excited to go to work and school because I'm seeing my people.
Yeah,
I agree.
As we know, the Aggie experience gives incredible moments. What are some standout moments for you all in your involvement journey?
I would say that regarding the 12th Can, because I would say that's probably the organization I'm most involved in. I knew I was in the right place during my first executive retreat. Every year we do exec retreats just to have some team bonding and being able to prepare for the year. And so going into my sophomore year, it was my first exec retreat, and I was pretty scared. I was one of the younger ones on exec. I knew who the executive director and associate director were at the time, but they were still like the big, scary seniors. And so I was nervous going into there because I've always been a shy person at heart. College has definitely allowed me to open up a lot more and not be as shy. So when I went into that exec retreat, I went in with a very open mind to be like, okay, I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to be vulnerable. I'm going to really bond with these people. And I did. And so being able to do that and have that experience over the exec retreat, I knew it was where I wanted to be, and I was there for a reason, because it just solidified my belief in the fact that you can have so many different personalities and individuals in a group of team members, but everyone's fighting for the same mission at the end of the day. And that's what was really impactful to me, and I know I'm going to carry that into my future career because I'm aspiring to be a physician, and I'm hoping that I can be able to rely on that backbone of if people are there fighting for the patients that we're going to be working for and fighting for the people who deal with food insecurity now. It's just something that's so impactful to me, and I want to be able to take into my future life. And even now, like, I know being a physician is what I mainly want to do, but I want to find a way to where I can contribute back to the community and fight food insecurity wherever I end up. I just know it's a huge passion of mine, and being part of the 12th Can and finding that community within it has really solidified that it's my next number one passion next to medicine. So,
like you said, I totally agree. I 100% believe that Texas A&M has one of the best student experiences in the country. It's really hard for me to pinpoint like a particular moment in my time at A&M that like stands out or is a special memory, because I think I've been really fortunate to have so many. I think some of my like highlights though are connecting like former Aggies and future Aggies to like current Aggies, and just seeing that timeline like with Fish Camp and Team 12 and different like things like student government. I've really been able to like be a part of welcoming the next class onto campus, but then also welcoming back like classes from 50 years ago, and just hearing everyone's stories from way back when, or hearing people excited to like start making memories. Like, there's not that experience anywhere else, and it just really stands out. And those are the things that I'm going to remember 50 years from now and that I'm going to share with people when I come back to campus. So I think it's just so special how ingrained Aggies are in each other's lives. And I just love it.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth and Gabby, for joining us on the show. For those who are watching and listening, if you're interested in getting involved, come visit the Department of Student Activities and Student Organization Leadership and Development. We're happy to help you either create a new student organization or be a part of one. Thank you so much.